thought I was all situated. I'm obviously not. Oh boy. Hello! I gotta drive. Boy, I hope that stays. If it comes crashing down, I'm so sorry. I'm free! I'm free! You guys, oh my goodness, what a story. If you've never been to the county jail, the downtown Denver city jail, I suggest you do it. Just for fun. Just do it for fun. So that's the second time that I've been in that jail. The last time was in 2013 on some bogus, trumped up bullshit that got dropped. But the last time I was in there, that's when the jail wasn't running so good. Well, it's running worse now. I was appalled. You guys would not believe how disgustingly dirty that jail was and what went on in that jail. Holy shit. So, a couple deputies are going to IA. I plan on taking some steps like I did last time when there were some issues in that Denver jail with some folks that I knew. And I went to the sheriff, and he was actually pretty receptive. It was Sheriff Furman, but he's no longer there. So I'm live streaming because I'm driving back to the jail. I got out of that jail and I had to go scrub myself with bleach, rinse myself with bleach, brush my teeth with some bleach, and then swallow some bleach. I'm not even kidding. It was so freaking bad. It was bad. And the things that were going on in there were even worse. So that's part of the reason I'm going back, because of course I made a friend, and it happened to be my cellmate, who's all of 18 years old, and it was her first time in jail. And they were screwing with her. And I fully believe, once again, there was some divine intervention going on about why I was not being released in a timely manner, and she'd be it. Because today, during all of the bullshit, trying to figure out why my prints weren't being cleared, they were screwing with her over not getting her meds, and she really had a breakdown. She had a bad breakdown because she was trying so hard to be so nice and so cordial with these people, and they were ignoring her. They were essentially belittling her. She practices the Muslim religion, and they embarrassed her by not giving her her head covering. So she'd already been through the ringer in booking. I saw her come in quite a few hours after I did, and I kind of kept an eye on her. And we ended up being cellmates. And I think I scared her to death to begin with, because they had fucked with me so much by the time we got upstairs that I wasn't being friendly anymore. I too was done being friendly. I was just 3 hours ahead of her. They were so bad in that jail. You guys, I know you say, you know, just cooperate, you're at their mercy, horrible things could happen, they could beat you to death, blah, 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 blah. But it was a little bit beyond that with their blatant you could kiss my ass if you want an answer from me. I mean, they were bad. So I was demanding my inmate handbook, which they flat out, 3 deputies refused to give it to me. Thank you, Master Baker. But guess what? Everything's going to be okay, because my attorney showed up today. And Denver's really probably going to wish that they hadn't opened up this can of worms. And so that's about as much as I'm going to say about the criminal case of me being charged with interference, fail to follow a lawful order. Okay, so the question is, what exactly was the lawful order? Because a lot went down at my tent, and yes, I was in fact homeless for the evening. I had a serious situation. It had nothing to do with my wonderful husband, who spent all day fixing this whole fiasco, who ultimately discovered that the Denver Police Department had in fact sent over the clearance for my fingerprints last night, and the jail didn't pay any attention to it until y'all started calling. I'm just gonna say, okay? So by then, however, I was due to be in court at 1 o'clock, and it was within the 2-hour window of processing a bond. So the bonding office could not process a bond. The bond was $500, okay? We were ready to bond out last night. How fascinating, though, that the charging agency, the Denver Police Department, is in charge of clearing subjects that they send to the jail of their background, clearing them of their fingerprint background, because they use the NCIS system, and that has to be done by the Denver Police Department. So, I mean, who would ever suspect that the Denver Police Department is trying to keep people in jail that they put in jail by using shafty tactics to not clear your fingerprints? I mean, that would never be happening, right? You guys, wait till you see my booking photo. Holy shit. I've taken a lot of pride over the years in my booking photos, okay? In fact, one of them is my thumbnail on my YouTube channel. If you ever see it down in the right-hand corner, I don't know if it'll be on this video or some of my others. I might need to set it again, but my last booking photo was in Morgan County when I went to jail twice in 10 days. So, the first time I went to jail, it was on a warrant that little chrome dome fucking troll crafted up. So I got all dressed up, of course, right? I did my hair, I curled it, makeup was great. Is it back? Coming back. I might pop in and out a little bit in some areas. Okay, sorry. All right. So anyway, I was saying, I take a lot of pride in these mug shots, right? So, but this one, holy shit, you guys, I'm not even kidding. It was, I left that tent in probably 110 degrees. It had to be 110 degrees in that tent. And I was drinking a lot of water. Trust me. I mean, I was taking care of myself. So, but, let me tell you, all the shit that went down after I got put in the cop car. Okay, I don't even really know why I got arrested. Let's just leave it at that, okay? I have no idea. So we're gonna have to review some discovery. Because there's a lot of questions, But here's the good news, you guys. Who knew? Who knew that if that would be challenged, it wouldn't be enforced? And Cowboy ended up taking a deal with the city to get a motel for 3 days. And they packed up all his shit. And he has to be out of his hotel on Sunday. They don't have any of his shit. Hello? I needed my shit too. And guess what? My shit got picked up too by the city. And guess what? I'm missing my $500 pair of prescription Oakleys. And they were inside of a suitcase inside of my tent. I had given permission to one of the activists that were there helping to take my stuff. Well, apparently the city decided against that and decided to store it. So they better hope that they have every fucking piece of what I had in that suitcase, because I had a lot of money in that suitcase. I hadn't realized that I had left those sunglasses in that suitcase because I was trying to situate my purse, everything that I needed to be locked up in my car as they arrest me. And I left those Oakleys in that suitcase. Bad deal. If those prescription sunglasses go missing, shit's gonna hit the fan. Well, if any of my shit isn't there, shit's gonna hit the fan. So anyway, I'm driving back down to the jail because I don't know if you heard me say, but I made a friend, of course, and she happened to be my cellmate. She's all of a whopping 18 years old. It was her first time in jail, and her family has decided they want a restraining order against her, and that's going to leave her homeless, and she's on the street right now. She's been released. So if for any reason anybody's watching my stream and thinks that this might be a good lesson to teach your kid that they should live on the streets of Denver, before you at least just make sure they're in their bed with their door closed and you guys maybe not fight, you're making a really big mistake if you think homelessness is going to teach your kid a lesson out here, because it's going to take them down a wicked path. And I don't want that girl to go down this path. She's intelligent. Oh man, was this girl so smart and so articulate and so kind and trying so hard to be cooperative, and they were just fucking disrespecting her at every turn. It was so bad. Yes, thank you. And listen, no money for me, okay? Everything's handled. Everything is handled. I don't get on YouTube and beg for money just because I got arrested. Even if things weren't handled, I wouldn't be begging for money, okay? I don't ask people to take on my legal battles. That's me. What I ask people to do is care about other people that I can care about. So you guys might be talking about your calls. Did you get the gist? And it's because of your calls that we found all this out. So thank you. And huge shout out to Mexican Longhair. Is he a gem or is he a gem? I had no idea what he'd signed up for. I mean, that guy, wow. Thank you, sir. From the bottom of my heart. We needed that awareness around that. So, like I was saying, it doesn't even matter really why I was out there, but I was genuinely out there because of some things that happened that had nothing to do with my husband or, me being lost on the streets. It was a dire situation that I ended up there. So, anyway, you saw everything that went down. So, this cop puts me in this cop car. You can tell right off the bat, he's nervous as hell. He does not want to transport me to jail. Not because he doesn't want to do his job, just because it's me in the car, right? So, I don't say a word, not one word. I cooperate fully. I was kind, and nice, just like I always am. Until he's hauling ass, driving one-handed, fucking with his computer, trying to read papers and drive, right? He literally, you guys, this close to rear-ending somebody, taking me to jail. And I'm in handcuffs, right, in the back of that cruiser in those hard plastic fucking molded things. I have a torn rotator cuff that healed wrong from the last fucking cop that threw me around. So they were respectful about that. They didn't jerk me around in the handcuffs or do anything stupid like that. So that's good. But the way I was sitting, I had to lean forward. He slammed on those brakes so goddamn hard. Here goes my head into the back of that seat, right? I thought we were going, but he stopped. He didn't rear end him. I didn't say a word. Not one word. I was paying very close attention to his driving the whole time. And not one time did that guy use his turn signal. Not once. So, I don't say anything until we pull into the jail where they take you underneath through the doors into booking. And he's sitting there on the keypad waiting to be let in. And I said to him, I said, you know, I really noticed this whole drive that you didn't use your turn signal one time. And he goes, oh yeah, I know, I'm sorry, I'm multitasking. I said, yeah, you're multitasking and driving, and you're not doing it well. And when we do things like that as regular citizens, you show up to cite us for things like that, especially if we cause an accident. Some of us are better at multitasking, as you can see. Some of us are not. Some of us should not drive distracted ever. And some of you who are driving police vehicles, transporting people to jail, should not be multitasking at all. And you should be using your turn signal. So anyway, I pointed that out. He said he was sorry. I said, you know, I turn cops into IA all the time for not using their turn signal. And he just sat there, he didn't say anything. And I said, but you know what? I'm not going to turn you in, and here's why. Because you accepted it, you recognized it, and you apologized. So I'm sure you won't ever do that again. And he didn't really say anything. And so then I had to throw in my piece about, you know, two, you really should take your oath a lot more serious. Oh, I do. I said, no, you don't. Because if you did, we wouldn't be right here right now. And he said, nope, doesn't work that way. I said, yeah, I know. Just doing my job. Well, he was cordial. He did everything okay. He made sure that I got out okay, and he wasn't a jackass. So we'll say that about the transport. And he also, here's another thing that he did absolutely phenomenally well. I'd asked him for his card along the ride, and he said, yeah, I'll make sure you get it. I asked him for it again at the jail, and he said, yeah, I'll make sure you get it. We get into the booking area. I said, put your card in my property. And he did. So that's good. So I didn't get hurt. I didn't get beat up. I didn't get berated. I didn't have to yell, scream, cuss, none of that on the ride to the jail. So that part was good. So I'm headed back down here to the jail right now. This girl was supposed to text me when she got out, and she did not. I texted her, I did not hear back, so I'm a little bit worried, so I'm here to check. I told her I was going to put her in a motel until she can figure some stuff out, because she cannot be on the streets tonight with nowhere to go. Maybe her phone is dead. Maybe she's come up with another plan. I don't know. But I'm gonna walk up here and double check because she has been released. We went to court together. And by the way, we both got PR bonds, $100 PR bonds. So I didn't have to post a bond at all, which that's great. But I wanted to bond out when I was eligible to post bond last night at 5 o'clock, okay? And then at 4 o'clock this morning, oh boy, I got a lot of stories to tell you, you guys. I mean, shit went down in this jail. And I'm gonna follow up on it, trust me. So Littleton, lucky you, you're gonna get a break. How cool for you. Oh, these aren't even the right keys. Oh, here we are at the Denver Police Headquarters, in case anyone was wondering. This other shitstorm. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so I'm just gonna walk over here to the jail. See right here that it's this building that has to work with that building right there, in case you want to know about proximity. So maybe her phone died and she's sitting here with nowhere to go. I told her I would be back, so I am. But literally, you guys, my skin was freaking crawling. It was so disgusting in there. I can't even begin to tell you. I mean, I'm talking blood, human waste, vomit, disgusting. Oh, speak of the devil. Here comes a deputy walking up behind me here. I wonder how he likes his job. He's walking behind me. Yeah, right here is where they all come out and take a break and smoke. Yeah, so there was a guy in a holding cell in booking when I got there. And I saw the sign on the door that said intoxicated/sick. Well, I didn't think much of it until, well, I thought a little bit of it when I saw some fluids running under the door out into the common walk area. And he was heaving and throwing up. Didn't sound like he had a lot of vomit at that time while I was there. He was dry heaving. What was happening was he'd been in there for 24 hours. Locked in one of those holding cells in booking to lay on concrete, flat concrete. He was gonna get checked up on by medical. Medical had come out and were making rounds into these holding cells. And they opened the door and I looked in there and there was freaking puke everywhere, all over the floor. I think I saw him laying in his own waste. And he was kind of rolling side to side and moaning. I couldn't see his face. But medical has the deputy open the door. And the deputy says, oh, yeah, he's been throwing up for 24 hours now. And medical goes, oh, okay, never mind. And they shut the fucking door. I kid you not. I kid you not. Look, she's not out here. Oh. Well, Just double check, make sure she's not inside. Yeah, isn't this a beautiful building? Let me tell you, it ain't beautiful inside. This is a facade for one of the, and this building is not that old. What is it, 12 years old maybe? You should hear the fucking plumbing in this place. It sounds like seals barking in between the walls all night long. All frickin' night long. She's not in here. And I waited for about 10, 15 minutes after she was released for a text from her. Well, maybe she decided she didn't want my help, or maybe something better worked out. I hope so. She has my number. I wrote it down for her. I texted her, but I thought maybe her phone might be dead, so I should just come over here. I don't know, she was pretty traumatized. Just gonna walk down here to Colfax and see if she's anywhere down here. And she was very proud. She was very proud of herself because she said, I mean, she told me her story, you know, she was in and out of foster care because her mom was abusive to her and her two sisters, and her mom got felony charges and did some time. And so she was in foster care, and she said that's where she learned some good skills and how to set goals for herself to go to college. She said none of her siblings graduated or went to college, and she was able to get her GED. She got accepted to Trinidad for the spring. But being in and out of foster care, you know what happens at the age of 18? They say, bye-bye. They age you out and literally send you to the streets. And yes, that is how that works. If you don't think that's how it works, you're ignorant, because that is how it works. So she, when she aged out, her mom contacted her again and said that she could come live with her and her stepdad. And so she did. So that wasn't too long ago. And she said her mom's determined to sabotage her. Called the cops on her. They were having a fight of some sort. And yeah, her interaction with DPD wasn't too hot, the way she explained it. The women deputies told her that they didn't have to activate their body cams. She's pretty in tune with what's going on in the world. She's an African-American young black girl, and she was trying to make a point to those cops that she didn't feel safe with what was going on, and asked them if they had their body cams on. They said they didn't have to activate them. So either, you know, her story's wildly outrageous, which I kind of doubt it. She was pretty articulate. So I kind of told her, you know, how to handle that. I hope she at least took that with some seriousness, because she needed to. So she had a pretty big breakdown during the day today and said some things. And she was upset because they weren't giving her her meds. So she said some things that prompted this, let me tell you what, this bitch, guard, sheriff's deputy to come over and open the door and tell her that she was going to put her in the hole. Well, I'd already had words with that deputy starting at 4 o'clock in the morning about why the fuck my fingerprints weren't processed. And she let me know in no uncertain terms that she didn't know what the definition was to indeterminate incarceration because I kept pushing that because they wouldn't tell me anything. They didn't even tell me I had court. And so, once again, she was the second deputy. I asked for my inmate handbook that I'm entitled to a hard copy of so I can file a grievance on a specific policy. I can't file a grievance if I can't identify the policy that they're breaking. And again, I was denied. We were on a pod that's locked down 23 hours a day. And I was told that that's just too bad. That's just the way it is. So, shit. I don't see her anywhere. Yeah, I'm back. Freedom. I suggest everybody have to do some things in life. I think you should have to go to jail. I think you should have to take care of vulnerable people that are dying or less fortunate than you. And I think everybody should experience childbirth, of course. But yeah, if you want to test out a jail, here's one for you, and it's fucking gross. It is so disgusting, and this place is not running right now. It literally is not running. It's dangerous. You should have seen the fight that broke out in this pod this morning. Oh, which, by the way, breakfast is served at 4:30, and lunch is served at 9:45. Yeah. And that's the other issue in there. I wanted to file a grievance right away about food. I get into booking, and two guys are having it out because literally they're hungry. They both have been asking when they're going to get food. They're being told in 2 hours we serve dinner. That was at 2:30, right? So 3 people start complaining about not having any food since 9 in the morning. I shit you not. These are all true stories. Hi, Paul. I'm out. Yes, I am. So I'm telling jailhouse stories. So during booking at 2:30 in the afternoon, I got there a little after 1. These people are complaining about not having any food and not being given any food. And I was even a little bit hungry too. I was getting kind of worried. I thought, oh shit, well that's gonna be great. So come here with nothing to eat, having really not eaten a meal because I was in that tent. Hey RP, okay, yeah, sounds good. So this, you guys, these are just what I'm seeing. This African American man, this black man, was very cordially explaining to the guards. Look at me, I look like shit. I've had 3 hours of sleep in about the past 56 hours. Very cordially explaining to these deputies that they had him at the county jail for transfer over here at 8 in the morning. He had no food. They didn't feed him there. He got here at 9:30, no food. It's 2:30, he's asking for food. He's trying to explain to them. They put him in a fucking holding cell. They said, no, that's it. We told you. We serve dinner at 4:30 here. They put that guy in a holding cell and left him sitting there. And he had done nothing wrong. Nothing. And lo and behold, they bring out a cart with sack lunches about 20 minutes later. Do I, Darlene? Thanks. Yeah, I went and took a shower, of course. You should wait until you see that booking photo. You're gonna go, oh God, yeah, no, you don't look so good. Or you gonna, oh, it's not in here. It's on this bag. Wait, you guys, it's so funny. My hair is standing up here. I'm just I was drenched in sweat. I could not cool down. It took me, I don't know, until probably 8 o'clock at night. And they keep it cold in there. Everybody was complaining about being cold. Everybody was putting their arms inside their shirts and shivering and shit. And here's the other thing. When I get there from that transport, I had a tank top on, not much more revealing than this, okay? Maybe a little thinner right here, right? So I get in there, and right away though, this was so cool. I was greeted by this incredibly handsome young man who walked up to me, a sheriff's deputy. Oh, Kimmy, thank you. And he said, how's Blake doing? Well, Blake's my son. Blake's my oldest son. And he's gonna be 30 this year. And I looked at him and I thought, boy, I gotta know this kid, right? And he said, you remember me and Jeremy, we were at your house all the time. I'm like, you were in Blake's class, weren't you? And he's like, yeah, junior. I'm like, oh, I kind of remembered, right? And he was just all smiles. He was so articulate, so professional. It made me so proud. He was the only one in booking that whole time. That whole freaking time. I watched him intently, right? And and he ended up processing my fingerprints after I pitched a fit to why they weren't processing anyone's fingerprints. They'd taken one person's fingerprints in 3 hours. And I called him over and I said, can you tell me what's going on with the fingerprinting? He's like, Miss Benson, I'm gonna get you fingerprinted here real soon. Well, I watched. They were changing stations. And every time they'd have one of these blowouts, like, you know, putting that guy in that holding cell, or the guy who was clearly having a mental health breakdown and was just wanting someone to talk to, and everybody was just ignoring him and laughing at him. I wanted to go talk to him, but they'd freak out if the men and the women talked. There was nothing I could do to help this kid. And he pulled out this tag out of his shirt, and it was a piece of cloth. It was like the American flag, and it was sewn in his shirt. And he said, this is America, you guys, America. They fucking threw him in a holding cell. They threw him in a holding cell. They told him to shut up and sit down. He responded with, no, fuck you, you sit down. They kept escalating it and escalating and escalating. That's it. Like 8 of them come get him and put him in a fucking holding cell. I burst into tears over that one. I did. That kid, and you guys, he sat in there and he was just in my view. And every time I'd look over, he'd knock on the window and he'd wave at me. And I'd look at him and he just wanted, oh my God, it's so bad, you guys. It's so bad. I wanted to just come unglued. You have to just throw everybody in these holding cells. And then that sick guy in there, who knows what the hell has happened to him. That dude was sick. And it wasn't an intoxication sick. If he'd been throwing up for 24 hours, dipshits, there was something else going on. Yeah, that kid probably did serve our country, Darlene. He was talking a lot about being screwed over, and this is what they kept doing to me. I listened. He had some holds in some other counties. I mean, he's in here for the long haul. Yeah, I remember Timothy McVeigh. How is Cowboy? Well, Cowboy is well. Cowboy took a deal. Thank you, Roger. Yeah, he was. He was, and no one was, he kept saying, I have a heart. I have a heart. I have a heart. And he was another one asking for food. If they had just given him some fucking food, he would have sat down and eaten. And they never did go back. They kept walking by. And he'd say, I want to come out. And they'd say, oh, do ya? Okay, well, I'll go talk to Sergeant. I'll go talk to Sergeant. He'd do that with everybody. And nobody would do it. They never let him out. One of the guys had come over and said, okay, are you going to cooperate with us now so we can get your fingerprints? The fucks that were doing nothing. Boy, for being so understaffed here, you should have seen the groupings of employees in booking just sitting around fucking talking, doing absolutely nothing. Nothing. They've been bitching in the press about how understaffed they are. And these deputies, I will tell you that I'm going to file complaints on, they're seasoned. They've been here, one of them since 2001. This other bitch last night, Lopez, this woman, she's been there since 15. You know what she told me? So when I was talking about indefinite incarceration, she walked up right to the glass, right? Like she was going to take me on through the glass. And she goes, well, you are in a incarceration facility. Like she was going to smack her head up against the glass. Like psycho shit. They get away with this all the time. All the freaking time. And they're supposed to have their body cams activated. That was this whole thing in this goddamn jail too, when they were beating people to death. Oh, the worst of the worst. And then some of the other ones at different parts when you check out, oh, just nice as pie, until you go to get your property, and then the guy goes, you can change right there, and you go in this bathroom. You guys, I shit you not. There was human shit all over this toilet. It had ran down, and there was blood on the rim of the seat, like somebody had thrown up blood, and it was just hanging on the seat. I moved to the very far wall of that changing room and kept my feet on my sandals, right? I mean, I didn't touch anything. My skin was crawling so bad by the time I got to this point. I came out of that bathroom and I said to that deputy working property who's telling people to go in there and change, I said, have you checked that toilet lately? What's wrong with it? I said, well, it has human feces and blood dripping from it. That's jail for you. Don't like it? Don't come to jail. I said, oh, what's your name? Dick? And that Lopez, when she got smart with me and I told her I was going to file a complaint, she also gets closer to the glass and she says, and make sure you spell it right. I said, oh, don't worry. I'm going to spell bitch with a capital B. She turns around and she goes, I guess you're not coming out to use the phone today, are you? I said, you take my phone call away from me? I think that's a really bad idea. And she didn't. She didn't. I came out, I made my phone call, and fucking stood there and told my husband, I said, this bitch right here, I looked at her the whole time. There was not one thing she could do to interrupt my phone conversation. So by then, of course, they weren't going to process anything. But it doesn't matter. Shit had already gone down last night when the Denver Police Department did send over the fingerprints. It's the jail. The jail admitted today to my husband, he went into booking at 11 o'clock and booking said no, fingerprints still haven't processed. My husband went over to the window and said, this isn't going to work. You need to find somebody else for me to talk to, and I want this figured out right now, and I'm going to go outside and I'm going to wait for you to figure it out, and when I come back in here, you better have it figured out. They came out and got him and brought him back in and said, well, yeah, she processed it. She just processed it at 11:15. My husband went back to booking, and booking said, yeah, but guess what? We can't process it because she's 2 hours to court. Well, I had court at 1 o'clock. They never even told me I had court. I learned that over the phone, right? So I went to court and got the $100 PR bond, and they're required to release me within 4 hours of that. I was out in an hour and a half after that. Yeah, that was from last night. It was a long night. There were not a lot of sleeping going on. And you have to bang on the glass and scream at the deputy. They don't have any kind of intercom. They don't come over unless they want to get in your face or talk shit, right? So you have to scream across the way. You have to ask for toilet paper. They don't give it to you. They don't give you anything. You have to ask. So I asked for my inmate handbook that I'm entitled to, that I signed a piece of paper in booking that says you are entitled to a hard copy of the inmate handbook and or the inmate handbook on our computer system. They denied me the inmate handbook. I mean, right off the bat, it was just a shit show. You know what? I didn't even care at that point. I had no idea what was going on because they wouldn't let me use the fucking phone. And how, you know, how interesting is that a judge says you can bond out of jail right now. And the jail's systems and processes prevent you from even posting the bond. There is a lot of bad shit going on in there. A lot. And I'm going to follow up on it. Trust me. I am going to follow up on it. But, like I said, I had to hurry and go drink some bleach. I washed with some bleach. I rinsed with some bleach. I gargled with some bleach. And now I got to figure out where the hell my property went from yesterday's sweep. Yeah, and you're not even guilty of anything. And by the way, so it's a municipal charge that I was charged with, you guys. Interference, their favorite charge. Because I have an arrest history. I have an arrest record of interference charges, government interference charges. A lot of those got dropped. But my arrest history, I have like a 3-page CBI arrest history for government interference charges, failure to leave a public building. And what happened to the whole threat of trespassing? Have we not been hearing for the last year, you're going to get cited with trespassing. You're trespassing, Regan. Get off private property. You're trespassing. We're going to charge you with trespassing. They didn't even charge me with trespassing. I got charged with interference, fail to obey a lawful order. Municipal charge. So we will see what lawful order that was, because like I said, I have no idea what lawful order that they were barking at me. They never said, yeah, you know, Darlene, some things just become revolutionary at some point, right? So if I have to go survive, I need to be able to know that I can do that somewhere without government thinking that they're going to have the upper hand on me. Because there are people far more vulnerable than me, right? And so Cowboy, he ended up taking this deal. They're gonna, they gave him a hotel room for 3 days, but packed up all his shit. Yeah, failure to leave a public building. I actually just pled guilty to that. Just that one charge out of all those Fort Morgan charges that I had from those 2 arrests in 10 days. That's the only thing that a jury was going to convict me of, was failure to leave a public building. Because after that fucking tyrant, Dave Martin, threw me through the door and stepped over me and said, you see what I just did? And I got up and I started screaming at him. I was screaming so loud, I didn't hear him tell me to leave the building. So I didn't leave the building until his 3rd command to do so. So out in Morgan County, everything got dropped except that one charge. If I would have tried to take that one charge to trial, they would have brought up all the rest of the charges and tried to convict me on all of those, and there would have been no way that I would have won a jury trial out there in copsucker land, where they beg to shine shoes for the blue and do other favors. I mean, they had started a campaign literally calling to hang me in the fucking streets of Fort Morgan. So no jury would have got sat that would have given me a fair trial. My attorney, we talked about what it would take to ask for a venue change. It was likely absolutely not going to happen, he said, because of the nature of the charges. It wouldn't have qualified to move it. I can't remember exactly what all the things were. But anyway, that is the one charge that I've pled guilty to. All the other government bullshit charges I've taken to trial or they've been dropped. And So, yeah, truly, blue collar, it doesn't matter. They can say whatever they want. Joe Black, how are you? Nice to see you. So, my next court date, I think, is September 16th. I heard through the grapevine before my court appearance and after my court appearance, there was some talk by the city prosecutor that, thanks, Joe, that I planned all of this and I'm just an activist that does these things to get a reaction, and that I went out there and hung out in somebody's tent. You know what, Denver? You're not gonna wish you would have done this. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. They better have stored all my shit. My $500 pair of prescription sunglasses better be in that fucking $200 suitcase that was inside of my brand new tent. It better be, Denver. I'm telling you right now. So, whosever bright idea it was to not release that property to the person that I designated it to, which I believe that would have been you, Sergeant Reichert. Oh, that's right. I just filed an internal affairs complaint on you for not using your body cam, didn't I? Just last week. Imagine that. He was in charge of my property. Hi, Alan. Nice to see you too. Yeah, so I'm free. It was a total disgusting shit show. I stayed strong through it. I was getting a little worried though, being locked in that cell for so long without being able to use a phone, without knowing if I had court. Then I thought I was gonna be there forever. Yeah, they'll get you on whatever just for a conviction, and they're gonna work hard to try to get me on something. So I have a very, very, very good attorney, and when we go through the discovery, we'll figure out exactly what the unlawful charge was, because first they were going to charge me with violation of the camping ban. They ended up not doing that, and then came back and said that I was being uncooperative by not giving them my name. So I gave them my name, and some juncture I told them to come back with a warrant, so they came back with a search warrant instead of an arrest warrant. So I can't wait to see what they took out of my tent during their search warrant, right? So I think there's a lot more to unravel here and figure out exactly what they did. Thanks, Darlene. Yeah, thank you. Any donations go directly into the nonprofit. Oh, and Jerry, everybody, some fabulous news. Another activist took over, and Jerry is going to be at one of our safe outdoor spaces. So that's awesome. Okay. That's great news. And so they dealt with all of that motel issue today. And there's a lot of other things going on out there, but too much to really talk about. So I'm going to actually end this. And thank you for the super chats, you guys. This really helps. Now I just need to figure out how to go get it, because I had just set up this monetization. Yeah, they didn't even, I have to read that again. But it was a search warrant, and they had it folded real nicely in an envelope for me. Oh, and the city attorney, she drafted it. The city attorney that's at all the sweeps, she drafted it and submitted it. And got a few of the cops, you know, to go along with her. But yeah, lo and behold, they didn't charge me with trespassing. They didn't charge me with encumbrance violation. They didn't charge me with camping ban charges. They charged me with interference. Fail to obey a lawful order. So, thanks, Bohica. Yeah, I am too. I am too. It was a little hairy in there. But I made it, and I'm going to file some internal affairs complaints, and we'll see how they get handled. I'll keep you posted on them. Darlene, thank you very, very much for all your help in here. DJ, thank you. Still hope to see you soon, right? And thank you, everybody, for your support and supporting Mexican Longhair. Oh, and yeah, if you haven't subbed to his channel, we got to get him up to 1,000 subs pretty darn quick, because he's going to need to be doing this stuff on his channel, right? Oh, thank you, Eyes Wide Open. Not so much. Wait until you see that booking picture. You guys, that booking photo, you're going to crack up. I am going to publish it because it's so damn funny, right? I'm old. I'm a granny. I do take a little bit of pride, but when you gotta laugh, you gotta laugh. And this one, you're gonna laugh at this one. They had to take my picture 4 times. They were getting mad at me because I wasn't looking at the camera long enough. You gotta look at the camera for 25 seconds after it snaps your picture, because it keeps snapping. But I got some good technology going on in there too, right? Oh, Darlene, that's okay. I know you're here when you can be. Lucinator, thank you very, very much. All right, you guys. Yeah, arrest first, makeup charge later. We know how that goes, Joe. But seriously, I gotta go to bed. So I guess this little gal isn't around. I'm gonna check my phone again, and I just hope she's gonna be okay. So, you sent that of Cooper? Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for putting that link in here, Darlene. Thank you, Russell. I'm out and safe. Yes, epic video. Littleton. I mean, they're not off the hook. They just get a small break for the moment. Okay? All right, you guys. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next time.